Woo! Man, good to be back. Been busy with lots of recordings going on, but it's been a while since I posted an episode, so thanks for your patience. And welcome back, everybody, and of course, new listeners. So let's get to it. Today's episode brought to you by liverishi.com, wellness products. I've been using these guys for a while, and I would not talk about things that I have not used and trust. If you listen to the show for a while and know me, you know I put myself through a lot of physical activities. So with that comes, well, side effects, we'll call them. And I started with the Rishi Rub and aches and pains, sore muscles, just incredibly great stuff. I can't talk enough good about it. Anti-inflammatory, gets rid of just about everything. You know, it's no miracle cure, so don't think that it's going to fix broken bones and all that bullshit, but you cannot go wrong with this. And then, of course, he came out with CBD. If you have not jumped on this bandwagon, now is the time. And I got an incredible offer at liverishi.com, promo code TABLE. I can't tell you the percentage of the discount, but you will be very pleasantly surprised. So jump on there. It's not your gas station or drugstore CBD oil. It's bold, potent formula. I enjoy it to de-stress from everything that goes on. And I tell you, if you think you sleep good at night, try this. You'll really understand what a good night's sleep is. So let's get to it. Welcome to Walt's Kitchen Table, where I feature captivating stories from fascinating people. My next guest, Bill, oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps now just recording this promo for it. He's a yoga instructor, outdoorsy guy, does this canoe race, 90 miles in a canoe. Other things we talk about, the eclipse, science, the yin-yang of nature, how the balance, what nature does. And his story is very touching, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get to it. That's why
Is it okay?
Yep.
How's that? Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can hear it, and then see.
Trying to have good posture and.
I know. After a while, I'm like, fuck, my back
yeah, it's
hurts.
gonna. Yeah. So I'm yoga. Yeah, I'm a yoga teacher, so I'm always trying to, sit correctly.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'll just bring it to me, right?
Yep.
It's this thing that I'm not.
You don't have to be right up on it like that.
Don't put my face on it, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just so we can hear it, so people can hear it, and it's a pet peeve too that, like, when I listen to podcasts, it's when they sound like they're in the bathroom with echoes and
yeah.
It's like it's so tough to listen to.
It is.
So
it's amazing how much audio affects video. You can have the crappiest video.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
The audio is fine. It's like you can sit there and watch it and enjoy it. But if it's the most amazing video and horrible audio,
done.
It's very interesting.
Yep.
And being a visual person, that's a really, really interesting thing that I don't know. Do you know why that is?
No, well, I was in the video business for a long time, and I used to say exactly what you did. People would be like, okay, we're going to make this video and this setup. Okay, we're going to talk about sound and music and audio and all that. And they're like, what? And I go, you could have one of the shittiest videos, but if the audio is amazing, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
And the other opposite, if you have this incredible visual, but the audio shit, you're done. Get rid of it.
Well, thinking about it, right? I have a classroom full of people I'm teaching a yoga class to. They're listening. They even they can close their eyes, which is really wonderful. It's like, how many things can you be active and close your eyes? So the audio.
Well, we could really get deep into that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. But how important the audio is that they hear me and bring them in, so that it makes sense.
Yeah. Good. So how'd you get into yoga? You've been doing that as an instructor for a while, or?
So I'm horrible with dates. I'm gonna say I'm in my third year, maybe going into my fourth.
Okay.
I have a You don't not worried about it, do you? You don't need dates or anything.
Fuck no.
I
This is
actually,
forever.
not to be weirdo, but I thought of this like a month or two ago, and I used my notes. I created a timeline on my notes of my life.
What?
Yeah, like
Your whole
just-
life?
Not like weird stuff, just big things.
So like when I was going to say when
Like
I was
big-
4 years old. This
yeah,
happened?
nothing like specific, but like when I left a job.
Right.
And then started another job, but like my teacher trainings that I did, I put those like big moments that I could like, because I got tired of, I had
Life-changing moments.
Yeah, because I had to write a couple. I sometimes have to write like a little bio on myself. I got tired of it, so I made this timeline, and now it's kind of fun because whenever I come across something new, like I'm going through old records or something, I'm like, oh, that's a big one, and I put it on the timeline. It's kind of funny, but
Where's this time? Where's it housed, or where's it live? This timeline.
on my Apple Notes notebook,
okay.
the notepad thing.
No pen to paper.
I do. I'm a big pen to paper
I
guy.
love me
but
too.
because on the move, I don't want to, and I even actually have a notepad.
Nice. Oh, you do. Oh man,
But,
old school.
But I didn't bring a pen though, which is kind of funny. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get off. Back
that's
to
right.
about 3 to 4 years ago, I've been teaching. I want to say probably 4 or 5 years ago now. It's kind of weird how time moves, but what happened? I had no intention of teaching. I had no intention of even getting into yoga this much.
Yeah, but isn't that funny? That's how some of the greatest things ever happen in your life. You don't look for it.
You don't.
right in there.
And I was looking for stuff, which is really fun. Like I was like struggling with like, what am I supposed to do? Like I didn't know for a long time. And what happened was I went to a shrink. I went to a psychiatrist. And because I self-diagnosed myself with a million different things, read a million different books on all the wrong things.
Yeah, of course.
And so, I finally, finally hit, rock bottom kind of stuff, and saw like that I didn't have the answers,
Right.
and saw how I was affecting people in my life and people that I wanted to still be in my life, but weren't, no longer in my life
Want
because
nothing
of
to do
who I
with you.
was.
Yeah.
They wanted to do with me, but me and my flights of, trying to escape and not letting people get too close,
Right.
and just a couple too many really good relationships. And I was like, there's something really wrong with me. And so I went to this psychiatrist, I can say his name, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Iqbal.
Sure.
Dr. Iqbal. And the first, the first day in his office, I'm there for like 40 minutes. He asks me a couple questions and he like is going through stuff while I'm talking, and then he pulls up this piece, takes his like book out, and he shows me this list of PTSD and all of the symptoms. And he's like, "What do you think about all these symptoms?"
Sure.
And I started to laugh. It was like a moment. It was like sadly coming home. Who wants to be like pigeonholed or named?
Right.
But it was like, oh my God, like I can't run away. Like, wow, like
It's there.
it's there. Yeah. There it is. Like there's a name. He's like, can you say it? Do you think you have this? Can you say it out loud? And I'm like, yeah, I think I have PTSD.
Now, people listening the first thing they're going to wonder.
Yeah.
Military.
Yeah,
Were
yes
you
and
in the
no.
military? Okay.
It's not because of the military.
Okay.
I
No,
served.
that's great. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah,
That's
and
why I wanted to get. To.
I can even. Yeah. I'll get.
It's so associated with the military. I know that it can be applied to many other things. Anything traumatic in your life.
It's actually
right.
It's only 10% out of the PTSD population, I think, is veterans.
Wow.
The other big 90% is abuse, child abuse, sexual abuse, domestic abuse. So I had a really bad hunting accident in 1995. So going on my 24th year, coming up here on 24 years in September 3rd is my 24-year anniversary. But and I don't mind talking about it. But I want to answer I want to just answer your initial question. In the sense
that's all right. This is what's so great about this. That's what I loved about this podcast. It's just like I was speaking to Bio before you show up. I'm building my website for this podcast. And where I'm stuck is on my bio because I can't talk about myself.
It is really
right.
Have someone else do it for you.
Well, see, I data dump on it. I just keystroke. Brrr,
That's a
and
good.
then,
Yep.
And then my wife Val will look at it, and make sure it's all punctuated.
Have people that know you.
Yeah.
Look at it. People that you trust and people that you know.
Yep.
And because it's, I'm not gonna lie, it's excruciating to me still. I've had to do a bunch of them now, and it's still, I'm starting to finally like. It's a story you make yourself, so I'm like, all right, let me just enjoy this now. I've already kind of, but I totally get it.
Yeah,
totally
I was just like, oh fuck, do I put it in Walt is this or do I is it?
Yeah.
Party,
Past or third person or no, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
And it'll change depending on the venue, right? Like,
well, that's the thing.
What
you're talking about. So going back to your story.
Oh yeah. So I want to tell you how I got to this yoga thing. Because he says to me, he's like, I can help you. And I said, well, I don't want to go on meds.
Sure.
He goes, well, you gave them to me. You got to trust me. And I was like, okay, that's a good point.
Well, you think the first thing he's do is just load you with pills?
I thought I was worried, He goes, but I appreciate where you're coming from. He goes, let's find a compromise. I think I can help you, and I think we'll have you off the meds. But I want to know what do you like to do that's physical? Like, do you like do sports? Do you? And I was like, I'm like, ex-military in me is like, I don't run anymore. I don't want to deal with any of that shit anymore. And I'm like, and I don't. I'm a big outdoor person, like canoeing, kayaking, and all that. But the way he asked me, I'm like, I don't exercise. I didn't exercise that time anymore. And I said, I'm like, oh, you know what? I go to yoga depending on who I'm dating. Like, to be honest, right? One every other week. If I'm not dating somebody, I'll go to yoga because I was a smart guy. Yeah, to be creepy, but I was like, you
got to get in a target-rich environment,
right? Like people that want to take care of themselves. Right? Yeah, and it was funny because, and I did. I would, I had dated a yoga instructor, and that was one of the relationships that I was really upset that I felt like, if I can't even make this work, So I had some background in it in the sense that I was attempting it, but it was like, like once a week, once every other week. So he goes, and he was Hindu, and he was like, yes, he's like, that's perfect. He goes, I'll tell you what, you go 3 or 4 times a week to yoga. I think, I feel like we can come with a plan together. And after a year, I think that you'll be where you want to be. And that's all she wrote.
Done.
Good
for you.
Yeah. And so what happened was, once it turned into a practice, I saw like it immediately helped me. Like, and not just that, and the drugs. I hate to, I got to be honest. Yeah,
sure.
He put me on, gentle prescription, but those meds helped bring me down to a place where I wasn't in constant, fight or flight mode. That right. I finally could be like, wow, look at how I am acting when I'm in that bad place, or and it was a big eye opener to see that, like, oh wow, like this is what I've been missing for the last, at that 12, 13, 14 years. Yeah.
So are drugs now or no?
A year he wasn't lying. We were off in a year. I was.
Congratulations, man.
I self-medicated for yeah.
Weed?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Marijuana, totally. It was wonderful. It really helps. It helped.
Got no problem with that.
I see it. I see where it helped, but I've even just recently in the last I've even tried coming off that, and I've been off it for a few months. I've been off it going on my 4th or 5th month. I've just
nice.
Just coffee. That's my last.
Oh yeah, I gotta love some caffeine.
Yeah.
How about CBD oil? Nothing
I didn't. It was funny because right when I made this decision to come off, somebody came into my life that she is I forget what it's called, but a cannabis, very this new industries are growing now, right? Whew. So she's like a therapist and she started getting me into the groove of what to do, and I was just like, I just think I'm cheap. and money motivates me a lot of times. I'm
Yeah,
like, you know
yeah.
what? I think I'm just gonna be. I think I'm just gonna not even go that road and just let me see. But if I need it, I will come back to you.
Right,
And that
right.
was 4 months ago. And I'm. It wasn't hard because I have learned in the last 4 or 5 years some tools to help me, like all the steps it's led me to help
Where
manage
you
that.
are.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So how often do you teach yoga?
I teach pretty much 5 days a week.
Wow. Is that your full-time job?
It's one of them. It's one of
Okay.
them. I kind of so I started working for myself. You know, once I, I had a very I don't want. It wasn't a corporate job, but I was like a manager of a bunch of people. Big Campmore. You ever heard of Campmore?
No.
It's a big camping store in Paramus, New Jersey. Really,
Campmore. Oh,
Campmore.
yeah.
Yeah.
My
yeah.
mind went
That's
a
okay.
total
No,
different
that's
direction.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been around for years, family owned, and I was there for 11.
Like camping supplies?
Yeah,
and-
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I was a manager there for like 11 years, and so and dealing with the PTSD, being a manager there. Oh, I don't even want to. I think about what I put some people through, the bad time. Yeah. I have some. I feel bad. Some stuff. Always was trying to do the right thing, but there'd just be, just certain things that set me off, man.
Oh, yeah,
and that
of
would
course.
be it. But towards the end, with the yoga and on the mat, like everything changed. Like it flipped, and at the end, I saw, like how I make my own reality and make my own plate. Like for the most part, I still struggle with it. I'm not, I'm not lifted off the seat yet here, but just seeing it, and so that change started there. But I always struggled with working for somebody. It was always hard for me, like having my ideas and being like, no, we're not going to do that. Or, I need you to be in charge of these people, but this is
This is what we want you to do with it.
yeah. So so I did everything realizing that, grew up in a blue collar family and we never even talked about working for ourselves. It was always like you had a job, 9 to 5.
And you worked there for 40 years and got a watch and
Yep.
retired. And
that's the way it goes. That's and so
some people are really good at it. And
absolutely it is.
And it supplies a service for a lot of people.
And there's definitely a type of person that it is good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But I struggled.
Wasn't for you.
I just struggled. I just wanted to be, the creative side of me. Just, like I wanted my ideas to be like used to see stuff happen.
Sure.
So I saw the yoga. I saw where it was going.
Yep.
And the other thing I do is photography.
Oh, nice.
So self-taught photographer. And even then, as I was coming in to my, the yoga parts, the photography parts kind of merged at the same time. And so I always dabbled in photography.
Creative juice is just flowing at that point.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Nice.
Yeah. So just spending a lot of time in nature. A buddy of mine gave me a DSL. It's funny because I didn't do the photography because I didn't think I was smart enough. I just didn't think that, I know, it's incredible looking back. Like,
Well, the limits we put on ourselves.
Oh my God! It's like
or what
there's
we
too many
think of
buttons.
ourselves.
Yeah, too many buttons, and but a buddy gave it to me because I took good pictures with the little point and shoots that I had.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got it here.
try
Here's
this
a
big
camera. here's a big boy camera. Just trust me. Just play with it. And this was probably 6 years ago, and it was like I saw what I could do with it, and it was like, oh my God. And then I sold a print, and then that was like, oh my God. Like I can make money selling, pictures of a nature moment that I was out in nature, like, oh my, okay. And then between the yoga and that, I'm like, let me see what I can do. So
Very nice. So
made some sacrifices.
Well, of course.
Moved back in with the family.
Sure,
So I wouldn't have any overhead and
you got to sell a lot of prints to pay
you got
the
to
rent.
sell a lot of prints. So that's why I had the yoga was starting. So it was like kind of like this growing thing, the yoga and the photography, and it's still growing. It's I still would love more, but I've spaced myself because I didn't want to I because of the PTSD, I've learned how to manage myself.
Okay,
so
cool.
I did it like at my pace, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, is that the majority of your photography? Is like nature, and
It was, but not now.
you expanded into much more?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't do like
'Cause
weddings and all that, do you?
I have done a couple,
Okay.
second shooter. I've done a couple small weddings.
Somebody wants to say hello to you.
Hi, I know.
That's my production
Is
assistant.
this Thelma or Louise?
That's Thelma.
Hi, Thelma.
Yeah, she's my. Well, they're both our cats, right? But she follows me
Yeah, I get
around,
it.
and
Yeah.
Louise follows
Yeah.
Val around. So
I have.
yeah, she's actually on the website.
Oh,
Yeah, she's a good cat.
yeah.
She meets me at the door every day. Good cat.
I have a dog, so I understand the connection
Yeah,
to the it's good responsibility. It's good connection.
Yeah, that and too, like it just puts a homey feeling, puts a warm feeling in your home when you have a pet.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And our lifestyles, Val and I's lifestyle, cats, because we can leave for a week.
That's yes.
A dog, you
That's
would
very
never
responsible of
do
you.
that. Yeah.
Because people get dogs, and then they are always, and it needs to be, big part of your life.
Yeah, I had a border collie
Yeah.
out in Colorado, and she was red and white. She wasn't black and white. She was red and white.
Yep.
Unbelievably intelligent.
Yeah.
People say they're smart dogs, but until you own one and like deal with it every day,
And you see them figuring stuff out.
dude, that
See 'em
motherfucker, she'd be
looking,
looking. Yeah,
yeah.
she'd be looking at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am so glad you don't have thumbs.
Yeah.
I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
You know?
I know exactly.
Oh,
My dog
beautiful
has
dog,
border
too.
collie in him.
Oh, okay.
So he's got shepherd, border collie, and husky. So he's
Yeah.
very intelligent, very aware.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had my leash was a backpack, so she had saddlebags.
Yeah.
Because I did a lot of hiking.
Did a lot of
stuff.
hiking, and she can carry her own water. Right?
That's what I said. People are
Yeah.
like, "What do you do that for?" Because she carries her own
Carries
shit.
her own water. Yeah, I'm not carrying her
What do you
stuff.
fucking think I am, a Sherpa? She carry. But man, I would pick even to move it, like to clean or to just move it from where. If I touch that leash or saddlebags,
Ready to go.
she, at the door, boom.
Yeah.
But the reason I thought of that was I gave her to a family. I was working at a big company at the time, and this lady had, a couple kids, 3 kids, I think. Huge backyard, another dog, and I couldn't. Lexi was her name, my dog's name, and I couldn't give her the time. Like I felt that I couldn't walk her enough.
It's a big response. Yes.
Right, and I was like, I gave her to that family, and she was just happier than hell because she had a big yard and run around with kids all the time, and like my dad used to say, because we had a big yard, but
Yeah.
I just
they need more stimulation than just
right.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, get like 4 sheep and leave the gate open.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
She'll be good.
They
you
need
know?
a job. They need a dog like that. An intelligent dog needs a job.
Oh, she was such a good dog.
Yeah.
Man. Amazing dog. But yeah, so here, Val and I talk about it. We get a house, get a home, a dog. Oh, sorry, I got to start my thing again here. Oh, and by the way, I don't edit these.
Okay.
I just let it roll. We'll have a dog, but again, it's at this point in our lifestyle don't.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah,
It's smart and responsible.
yeah. I don't want it to private dog. And then when you do get a dog, to the pound, straight to the pound.
That's where. Yeah, my guy was a shelter dog.
Yeah. So going back though, you want
Yeah.
to talk about your story with the hunting?
Oh, sure.
It's up
yeah,
to you,
Yeah, it's quite a story.
Now let's put a little background though. You always been in New Jersey?
I grew up in New Jersey, and what happened was during Gulf Storm or Desert Shield, right?
Is that the first one?
90. Yep, back
Okay.
in 1990, 91. I was graduating high school, and I decided to join the military. So I went in.
What branch?
Army, U.S. Army.
Okay.
I went in as a 19 Delta Cav Scout because I wanted to do something interesting. I grew up playing with GI Joes, and
Oh yeah.
my father, who I didn't know at the time, who had left when I was young, he was a war hero. The stories that were told, he was a war veteran. He was a Marine in Vietnam.
Okay.
And your dad served 2 tours. He went back for more, and oh yeah, so prep me up.
Get you all wound up.
Get me all ready to go, and
Yep.
kind of the whole "Who's my dad?" Luke Skywalker kind of thing. And so so I went in and I did but I realized when I got in that I was like, I don't want to do this. Back to the not
Everybody
being,
telling you what to do.
not being told.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like a part of me is okay with, like I get the whole, to be a leader, you got to follow. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wasn't for you.
It wasn't
That's
for
it.
me,
Yeah, yeah.
And like I loved the parts that were. I loved the camaraderie. I loved the friends that I made and
Absolutely.
It was interesting. A lot of us stayed together for the 3 years that we went to basic training, and we just got lucky and
We're deployed the same. And
we
all
didn't
that?
go any. We didn't go.
Oh, you never deployed?
Never went anywhere. So
Okay.
it's funny. In basic training, the war was over.
Oh,
So we were all lucky. We got not lucky, but we got the ribbon that that we served
During wartime.
wartime. But we didn't have to go anywhere. So, and what was great about that was the guys that came back were who taught us. In our,
okay.
so like in the 3 years that I was there, I was in Washington State for 2 years at Fort Lewis, and then a year in Fort Polk with second ACR, Second Armored Cavalry Regiment. The guys that came back, they taught us.
Crazy good.
They were they were vets. They were the real deal.
and like fresh too.
Fresh,
Like,
and so like
they were just in combat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I saw, looking back now, like, wow, the PTS, like, wow.
Yeah,
but good, rough with us, but like only because they cared. They wanted us to know. And
This is what's going to keep you alive.
this was going to keep you, literally. That
Yeah,
was said to
yeah.
us so many times. So, so I did the bonding, but, and the other thing is I met a girl.
Well,
while I
of
was,
course.
Met
In
a
the
girl
military.
while I was out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Was she in the military?
No,
or, so she was
local,
local.
Washington State local.
Classic story, right?
Yep. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. I'm going to get out and get married and
Chase her around.
chase her and so yeah. So but I wanted to I did my time, my 3 years, and 3 years active, and then
I was just going to say, I thought it was 2 and 4.
it
or
was
4.
for 19 Delta. It was 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
for Calf Scout it was only 3.
Okay.
I think I had 8 total. I think 5 inactive. I think 3 active and 5 inactive.
To where inactive means they could call you up.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I did go actually. I ended up going back into the National Guard for a little bit. I did.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right.
I got out and did and what happened. Yeah, so didn't go anywhere. Right. Was lucky to not go anywhere. Nothing was going on. I get out and less than a year after I got out, I go on a hunting trip.
In Washington State?
In Washington State.
Oh, beautiful.
The
up there.
whole rainforest on the Olympic Peninsula.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. And so I went with a friend that I met through, we'd gotten married, Stacy. We got married when I got,
No, this is the one you met in,
Yeah.
in the Army?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Stacy.
Stacy. Stacy Marie. And so, it was one of her really good friends' husband, I bonded with, and he was a hunter. He was a bow hunter. He's like, hey, come hunt with us. And he's like, we go bow hunting. We hunt elk. And I'm like, okay, sure. That sounds, because I did enjoy,
And they
there's
go-
parts of being in the military that I did enjoy,
Yeah, of course.
running around in the woods and,
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I can use some of the stuff I learned to, maybe do this. So, I got a bow and I practiced and we went and yeah, so we were at the campsite. It was, Labor Day week or what's September that week? It's Labor Day weekend. Yeah.
I always get them confused.
Yeah. And so we went that morning. We got up early, of course, and we went. And it's funny because that morning I almost got really hurt that morning. We were crossing a stream and I slipped, and it was a pretty strong moving stream, and it was cold in September, and I lost all my arrows. I had my bow. I had it clutched in one hand. I didn't lose my bow, but I lost all my arrows, and I was soaking wet. So we're like, let's just go back to camp, and get dried off and take care of business, have some breakfast, and we'll figure it out. And it was back at the campsite. We got dried off. He was Sean. He was like, "Hey, didn't you get a handgun?" And I'm like, "Yeah. You want to see it?" He's like, "Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know where this is going."
Yeah.
So I was 21. I'm already making excuses for myself. It's hard. Living with a mistake like this, because it was mine. It was totally mine. And even 3 years military, expert rifleman. I grew up around guns, so I knew all the safety stuff. But for whatever reason, I had to show Sean how the beaver tail safety on a 45 worked.
I can see where this is going.
And instead of pointing it in a million different directions of where it should have been pointed, it was pointed right at my belly. And yeah. And to this day, I don't know why it went off. There's nothing wrong with the gun. We've checked it afterwards, but it went off.
Oh.
Boom.
Worst place to get shot.
Yeah, through the belly. And I didn't know this, but it exited my shoulder.
Oh, bounced up and
bounced off my lowest rib.
Okay.
Went through my left lung, and then out my just below my scapula. So I got a little quarter.
And how big a shell or round?
Thank God. It was just what do you call it? It wasn't a hollow point. It was just a
slug.
Slug, yeah. Yep.
Ooh, hollow point. You probably would be sitting here talking to me.
It would not. And it's amazing. Like, it's even. I mean, if anybody knows what a 45 ACP is, it's to this day. Like, I think because it was so close to me, is why it went through. No, I think if I was any further away, it would have
tore you up,
knocked me down. It didn't even knock me down. I was still standing.
And you're like, what the fuck?
I literally looked down, and I'll never forget. I had a green sweatshirt on with the Eddie Bauer with that goose, that logo. Yeah. I know. Right through the logo, and all I see is the smoke and the char from a little hole in the sweatshirt.
Yeah. And
my brain was like, that couldn't have missed you, and not even finishing that thought process. The pain just came in.
So did it go through your stomach?
It did.
Oh.
Yeah, it did. Oh. So I thought I grabbed my one hand, I dropped the gun. I grabbed my belly with one hand, and I took my other hand and put it right to my back, thinking it went straight out. I couldn't feel that it went out my shoulder. I had no idea.
Still in shock.
And and I was in shock, but I remember it. I remember how it felt. It's hard, it's hard to talk about it. I've told the story so much that I've kind of gotten a little bit I
can see that
acclimated to it. Yeah. But if I don't keep moving with the story, and I remember what that it's like. This is kind of like a rude way of saying it, but it's like getting hit in the nuts. That hollow feeling. Only it's like through your entire body, not just your nuts. Like, it's like, and like, I knew what I had done.
Yeah.
I knew what I had done. And I was like, so I started trying to walk it off. I started walking around in a circle. Like, like when you hit your thumb and you're like, shake it, trying to
like,
it was, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't know. There's some parts that I'm right there with, and other parts that, I'm not. I don't know what happened to Sean. He wasn't. I just remember not thinking he was going to help me, and that when we came on this trip, he brought his wife. We all were camping for like the weekend.
Okay.
And I knew that she was at another campsite, like maybe 100, 200 meters away. I knew she was with a bunch of women. They were all hanging out.
Yeah, and for them to hear a gunshot, they're like, the boys are fucking around.
Yeah. I walked to them. I went to them. I don't know why I left Sean. I have a story in my head, but I don't know it. I don't know if it's just what I made in my mind, so I don't know. But I know that I got myself to them. And I remember stumbling into this little campsite and holding the front and the back, not even in the right place. And they're like, we heard a gunshot. What happened? And I remember like, I can't believe that I remember thinking like, I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth. But I shot myself. And it was like, it's still hard. It's like, as a guy, like, we're not, like.
Be all macho about it.
Yeah,
and all
it's
that, right?
really hard. It's really, my stepfather to this day doesn't believe that he thinks that something nefarious thing happened, because he doesn't want to believe that would have done something so stupid. And, but I did, and I remember even thinking like, while I'm stumbling, like, I can't believe I'm a statistic. I can't believe, like
I'm a fucking number.
yeah, I can't believe this. Like, oh my God. And because of what it was, I didn't think I was coming out of this. Like, I knew what a 45 does. I know what it was
Especially
designed
the
to do.
stomach. I mean, it could probably rattle around you a little bit.
Yeah,
You
but
might be okay, but man, you bust that stomach open.
well, the amount of blood that was coming out, not to be, that's what was like, yeah, this is bad. So I get to them. They were amazing. Women,
they just took charge.
Women are amazing. I believe in the whole, pregnant, bearing children. They know, they're there, they're present. So, they were like, I'm like, you got to get me. I'm like, you have to get me to a hospital. I was convinced. I'm like, and I started blaming everybody. I'm like, listen, because I was, now the shock's starting to really come in, and I'm like,
of course,
I need to get to a hospital. I knew what I had done. I had done combat life saving in the military, so I knew about gunshot wounds, and so I'm like, I'm like, apply direct pressure. I'm A positive. I started telling them all, and they're like, I'm like, but you got to get me to a hospital. And they're like, we're not moving you, dude. We can't move you. And because any movement would just gush,
bust you open.
It literally would like flowing out like pouring a glass of water. And so they laid me down, and I was like, I want something to drink, but don't let me drink. I remember thinking, you're not supposed to drink. But
no.
I'm like,
that's the first thing people think too. If you don't have any training, it's like, no, man, don't do that.
I'm like, don't let me drink, but I really want something. And I'm like, put my feet up and apply direct pressure. And I said, but because you're not bringing me to the hospital, I'm going to die, and it's on you.
Did you say that?
Oh, yeah. I'll kill anything. Like, I was like, I have my own guilt now from this, but like at the time it was literally like whatever to get you to get me there.
Well,
get me in a car, because we were far. I mean, we were at this campsite. We were 20 miles, I think, from Forks,
I was going to ask
Forks,
you,
Washington.
How far are you away?
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, I mean, I think that's your first.
Yeah,
like give me the hospital.
Get me to the hospital.
Right?
Like this is really
But are you really
bad.
thinking? But are you really thinking rationally?
No. And they saved my life by not putting me in a car. And a doctor. That was one of the. I had to go back and face a lot of different people after. And even in the accident report, it said that if they would have put me in a car, I would have never made it. I would have bled out before I got there.
Bouncing down the highway and
yeah. And the other problem was, it was a rainforest, no place to land a helicopter. And this is really interesting. This was just when cell phones started, 1995, right?
So was it like one of those big bricks?
Yeah, it wasn't one of those Miami Vice bricks, but it was like the Nextel, like it had a little flip on it and it had the little plastic antenna you pulled out. I think, because one of the ladies, I didn't have one, but one of the women in the group pulls out this cell phone and she's running around trying to find bars. And I'm like, and this is what I'm like, you got to get me you got to get me there. You're not going to save me with that thing, because this is before we trusted those things.
Right.
And it's funny, like that a cell phone. It's really dry. It's kind of weird, but a cell phone. So they got through.
They got to somebody.
And yep, they got 911, and so so the help was on the way.
So how did they get you? You couldn't land.
Police got there first.
Okay. 2
cops in a cop car. They were very, thinking back, I don't have their faces in my mind anymore, sure. But like their stance and they're like, yeah, this guy, I can see and they did admit to me later on. They're like, dude, we didn't think you're going to be alive 5 more minutes. So they start asking me questions. They need to know, they're like, look, Mr. Amos, we got to ask you a few questions here. And they're like, what happened? And I remember, they're like, I don't remember if they asked me if Sean did it, but they're like, and I was like, here I go. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm like, yeah, I shot myself. And then they're like,
why'd you do that?
Did you do this on purpose? And I was like, and I remember like the revulsion of that question. And like, I was like, and I'm like, yeah, this is my cry for help. I shot myself.
You said that?
Yeah.
No shit.
I'm like, yeah, you got me. Can you take me to the hospital now? Because I'm going to die.
Because you're thinking that you saying that's going to help.
Let's move this along. Let's move this along.
Shit.
But I was so aggravated. And then I'm like, and I remember thinking, I'm like, this is going to be the only time I'm going to get away with this. I'm like, I started saying some things. I started saying, you guys are really stupid. I said, I'm like, this is not a cry for help. I said, this was an accident, because I had to own it. I'm
Of
like,
course,
Sean
yeah.
didn't shoot me. I did it by accident. Showing them how the safety, having to say it again.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. Calm down.
Whoa,
calm
easy,
down,
bro.
you know?
Easy.
And
I would have been doing it. I believe I'd be like, "What?" I'd be so sarcastic. What,
yeah,
you think I
it's just
fucking
like
did
you
it
just
on purpose.
yeah.
But you're in a spot. Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I remember, like, can you guys take me? And they're like, we got an ambulance on its way. They'll be able to, stabilize you. We can't put you in the back of our car. Yeah. You're going to bleed out in the back of our car. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, now I'm going to die because of you. So it shifted from the girls.
You don't want to clean
now,
your car.
Yeah. Now it's the cop's fault, not, everybody else's
yeah.
fault except my own. And, but then within, this, I want to say it was like 20, 30 minutes, by the time they got there. Yeah. Because the call and they had to drive out.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes, the ambulance gets there. So I'm
did you
bleeding
have
out
that-
for 30 minutes.
Did you have that classic getting cold and all that?
Yeah.
Of course, your blood.
Yeah.
That's what keeps you warm, right?
Yeah, that's a whole other. The whole other part of the story was, I gave up. I did. There was a point where I was like,
Fuck it.
yeah, I'm like this. It was so painful, and I'm like, I can't. I'm like, wow, I really fucked up. Like, I can't believe that this is how I'm gonna go. I can't believe, like, I was a pretty smart kid. I thought, like, I just, did the right things, but yeah, and so I started saying to Shelly, his wife, I started saying my goodbyes. I'm like, listen, I'm like, Shelly, I'm like, tell my mom I'm sorry, tell Stacy that I'm sorry, that I didn't mean to do this. I realized the gravity of what I had done.
Right.
And it was really hard. It was, yeah. So, and Shelly was like, no, you're gonna tell him yourself. And,
shut
you
the
give me
fuck
the,
up,
shut up,
yeah.
you're good, you're
Yeah,
strong,
yeah.
we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, 45 shot to the gut, lady. Like, where's the ambulance? And
now at this time, did you realize it came out of your shoulder?
no,
You
I
still
did not
think it
know
was
that
through and
till
through?
3 weeks later.
No shit.
2
Okay.
weeks. 2 weeks. I
Okay.
woke up. Yeah, that's okay.
Go ahead.
So what happened was, in giving up, I want to say, like, a darkness on the edges of my peripheral vision started to come in, like you asked, and it started getting, really, really, my view, that tunnel vision.
Like when Looney Tunes ended back.
That's a
in the
really
day.
good one. That's a really, really, yeah. And the creepy, and what happened was, it was getting, and my breathing, because I was breathing on one lung, the pain of breathing, my breath was going from, because it
Right.
hurt to expand my lung.
Sure.
So I was doing the shallow breathing, and the darkness was creeping in, and I noticed how dark that darkness was.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh.
whoa. Whoa.
This is not cool.
I am not ready for this. And it was like, yeah, like seriously, like I was like, I'm like, Kelly, I'm sorry. I gave up. I'm here. I'm totally back. I'm like,
So that, like, scared you back?
Yeah. I'm like,
Oh,
do not
wow.
let me go to sleep.
Slap me,
Do
do
not
whatever.
yeah. I'm like, I cannot go. I'm like, I am not going anywhere. I am not ready for this. And she was like, yeah. That's
you.
right. We got this.
Yeah, we're on the same page now.
Yeah. And then at that point, the ambulance got there. And the funny part about that was, as they were backing up to me, they almost ran me over.
No shit.
Everybody was banging on the side of the ambulance, like, stop. I got this muffler in my face.
No.
And I remember even thinking, like, and this was before there were Darwin Awards, I was thinking, like, yep, here we go. Run over by an ambulance after he shoots himself in the stomach. This is going to be quite the story. And
there would have been a meme about that.
oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible to think about it.
Yeah,
of
like, course.
And but they got me on the the hard thing that they put you on. They lift you up,
Gurney and all that.
put you in. They put the oxygen on, get me in there, and
Hook you up to blood, I imagine.
all kinds of stuff was going on.
Yeah.
And Shelly got in the ambulance with me. She got in.
That's your friend's wife?
My friend's wife.
Okay.
Yep. And she was like, I'm with you all the way, Bill. And so then we had a 20 mile ride.
And you were awake the whole time?
Oh yeah.
Every bump.
Every bump, the pain, the breathing on one lung, and they had a hard time. I was really cruel. Now, it went from the girls to the cops to now the paramedics.
No, of course.
And so they're trying to get an IV in me, and they can't. And I'm like, give it, and I really believe this. At that time, I'm like, give it to me. I'm like, because we had done it. We gave each other IVs all the time in the military for, hangovers. We would give ourselves, saline. Yep.
Out in Vegas, we did that. But
yeah. So I'm like, I really believed. I'm like, give it to me. I'll do it myself. And I feel this is horrible. I shouldn't probably tell this part of the story, but they were both a little overweight.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm going to die because you're so fat you can't even do your own job in the back. And this is not a person who I am. I'm not, I was never mean like that. But it was like, it wasn't because I had no blood left in me. It's because it's their fault, not my fault. You know what I mean? Like, well, I was of course they couldn't get an IV in me. I didn't have no blood pressure. I'm done. Yeah. And they were so professional. They were really good. They were like, Mr. Amos, it's okay. We understand. We'll get it. We'll take it. And they got it in. They did it. They did their jobs. Yeah. So we got to the hospital, and I heard the beeping of the ambulance backing up. Beep.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, man, I'm done. Like, I made it. I remember thinking this. I'm like, I don't know if I still believe in you. Talking to my maker, whatever
form that is.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I still don't believe in you. I don't mean any disrespect, but I got this far. I'm afraid. I don't want to die. I'm not ready to die. Please. I said, I want to wake up, but I could not keep my eyes open anymore. And I closed my eyes.
Was that like a feeling like when you're just super tired and you just fighting your eyes?
There was nothing like, yeah. Wow. Remember in the military, we reached muscle failure a couple times through getting yelled at, and it was like this, like that ability, like seeing that I had no control, but just like, and also I'm like, I just like the pain, like I didn't want to be done with it as in I was giving up, but I was done with it.
Yeah.
The breathing on the one lung was really, really painful. Really. So did vice grip, like a vice being squeezed slowly,
like the whole elephant on your chest kind of thing.
Yeah, but from the sides though, interestingly.
Really?
It was like from both sides of the ribs being pushed in. Oh, not on the. Yeah. I remember that very distinctly.
Now, did you? So you don't remember getting out of the ambulance?
No. 2 weeks later.
No shit.
2 weeks later, I woke up. Respirator down my throat, strapped, wrists strapped with leather straps down to the bed.
Wonder why that?
Because they didn't want me to rip my respirator out.
When you woke up,
I had a machine breathing for me.
No.
Yeah.
So were you?
I had gotten it almost out one time. Don't remember it.
But instinct. You're like,
I flipped out and I broke one of the restraints. It was a week prior. I guess my mom, or it was more than a week. My mom got there, and I guess I saw her, and it made me like turn into He-Man. And
oh shit.
Yeah. So they had to use the big restraints on my wrists.
I've been there.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So
it's a whole other story.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I didn't know. I couldn't feel anything below my chest. So I was convinced nobody was right there. They gave me the med. They took me. It was an induced coma. They kept me out on purpose for all the surgeries.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then they finally were like, okay, I guess, and they took me off that. And so when I woke up, it was one of the worst parts of the whole story. Because I was there, I don't know. In my mind, I was there an hour. I probably was there like 3 or 4 minutes. But in that time, I convinced myself that I was paraplegic because I did not know it went out my shoulder. I thought it went through my spine, and I just had that like the stories of when you're wounded and you persevere for a bit. But I was convinced that everything below my waist was not going to be.
Because you couldn't feel it?
I couldn't feel it. Just couldn't feel it.
Did they have you numb? Did you find out that they had?
No, it just was. I think the respirator breathing for me.
Okay.
My brain just wasn't like there, and so they realized I was awake. They went and got Stacy, and she came in, and they're like, and they asked me. I don't remember the questions, but they, were like, do you remember? And I was like, you know, and I couldn't answer because I had a respirator down my throat. So they gave me a Sharpie
And a fucking
and a paper.
No,
And
you
they're-
always see that like in movies and stuff. But
I have these. She saved everything, and I do have it. Yeah, it's hard to look at, but. And so the first thing I wrote the word handicap. I just wrote the word handicap.
Question mark
with a question
or just,
mark. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like looking at it like, but they knew. They're like, no, you're okay. You're okay. And it
Were
was
you like,
yeah. It scares me to think. Like, I wish I was really like this strong person that would have been like, okay, I'll deal with it. But I was like, this is worse than I wish they just would have let me die.
Yeah.
I hate saying that out loud. And I don't believe that now. Now I'm like, you fight for whatever. Like, you be happy with whatever you get. And of course, it's easy for me to say that because I'm not. But that was really helpful. You know, like I heard that. I was like, okay. But I wasn't out of the woods though, because during the whole ordeal, it took forever for them. It took 6 or 7 surgeries to get them to stop the bleeding. Because it went through. It did so much tissue.
Oh, yeah. Just
45.
tore through. Oh, yeah.
Tore through. So they, but they did. They did all kinds of experimental stuff. Stacy had to like, with my mom, like together, she was really good. Like they worked together and she was a wonderful soul.
This is
I say wonderful because we're not married anymore and we're divorced. But yeah, she was who was made the decisions for me because we were married.
While you were out.
While I was out, and through the whole
right.
process of healing, So they did experimental stuff, but they got me back. But what happened was I contracted acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS, and at the time, I don't know now. I don't know because it's amazing medical leaps and bounds. But at that time, they were very, very blunt. They're like, you got a 50-50 shot here.
Of straight up surviving?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. Because of the respiratory thing?
Because the lung would not heal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
you might be on an iron
through.
lung. You might, we're going to have to take you off the respirator someday. And so it was like, that was the battle. The battle was to get my left lung to
inflated
be able back to normal so that we could remove the respirator and that I could not need any kind of whatever at that point.
Right. Assistance of any type.
Yeah.
Now, how long did it take for that recovery of the lung?
I don't know, but I was in the ICU for a month. I was in ICU for a month. And so I was probably a month. And then after, I want to say that third or fourth week, probably 3 or 4 weeks. And then the battle was to do it without needing a tracheotomy.
Oh,
so I would have to take these tests. They would give me these chew on ice tests, and if I little crushed up ice,
right,
and if I choked, it would melt so fast that I'd be okay. But if I choked, it means I wasn't
ready.
I didn't have the I forget the terms, but so they're like, so it got down to like. They were like the next day they were getting ready to open my throat up for a tracheotomy because
and you're like, try it again.
And I'm like, I would cry because I'm like, it was like, I kept failing. And then that last day, did it, chewed the ice, didn't choke. And they're like, okay, you did it. Nice job. What do you want to eat? And I was like, no, I picked strawberries.
Good choice.
And they tasted disgusting. The worst strawberries I've ever had.
I thought you were going to go amazing.
I know. But because I didn't have any use of my taste buds for, like, I was tube fed for all those, like, 3 weeks.
Oh, so
my
kind
taste
of
buds,
it
was like, what is this? This is horrible. Like, how strong they were. Don't get me wrong. They were the worst, best strawberries of my life.
Course.
And to this day, when I eat strawberries, I'm like, I
remember that.
Did it. Yep. Thank God. Yeah.
So then, how long? So at that point, you're out of
6 weeks in the hospital, and then, and I learned how to walk again. It messed up my nervous system so much. I had the deer in the headlight stare for like 3 months after.
The whole 1,000-yard stare, right?
Yeah. People were like they were like, he could have it. He might have it the rest of his life. They said I was going to have a speech impediment the rest of my life. They said I may need a cane. So these are all the things I was like, oh my God, okay.
So do you
okay.
believe that they're giving you some of the worst case scenarios?
Yes.
So that way, if you do better than that, you're like, whoa.
Absolutely. That way
Okay.
I can manage myself.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is,
yeah.
I
Brilliant.
think that's the best way. I do.
brilliant.
I think that's, like, okay, let me think about this and then see where it goes. And so,
yeah.
And then I was in a rehab center. It was like an old folks home for like, I want to say another 2 or 3 weeks to, get from the walker. I was in a wheelchair, then a walker, and then a cane. I had a cane for almost a year after. Yeah.
Now, was it one side that bothered you, or?
Well, it's been so long now. No, it was the whole, just all of it.
Just
Yeah,
overall.
just moving legs. I mean, there's definitely, and there's scar tissue. I got a lot of scar tissue.
Probably
but not
inside.
anymore now. Like that's the thing. Yoga.
Stretch you out.
100%, man. I up to before I even through all of this, through all of that, the years and the going to Dr. Iqbal, I had massive scar tissue pain. Even where I went to the hospital, and the doctor, and it's like, well, we can reopen you and pull some of it out, but you're just gonna get more scar tissue. Like, so I was like, this. It was really, it broke my heart. Like, and it was. But it was only when I would get really stressed out or worked up.
No shit.
Yeah,
You would feel
I'm
it.
not
when
even
you,
kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
wasn't easy, or which wasn't hard to get. So I was there all the time. Because of the PTSD.
It
I was
wasn't
always
hard to
worked
get
up. I
stressed
was
out.
always
Yeah,
stressed
yeah,
out.
yeah,
So
of
the
course.
pain was always, so my left side. So yeah, now that we're talking about it, I always go to my left side and kind of grab that left side where more of the, kind of the trajectory.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it went up that left side. But long term, I'm just my stomach's a little smaller. They had to take a piece of the stomach out.
Sure.
I lost my gallbladder.
Don't need that anyway.
No need of that. You got to watch though. If I get a cold, if I get a fever, I'm supposed to really monitor fevers because it helps with your immune system. This is what they
okay.
told me.
Huh. A gallbladder helps with your immune system?
Yeah, or maybe yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor.
Secretes hormones and enzymes. So, and so I just can't drink a lot of milk. I don't want to say I'm lactose intolerant. But if I have a little too much ice cream, I'm down for the count for about 20, 30 minutes. So
No shit, huh?
yeah, but I love ice cream. So
What's your favorite ice cream?
Oh God, I just like vanilla.
What?
I know.
You're a vanilla kind of guy?
No, I mean, I'll eat it all. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just happy.
You don't like all those crazy flavors?
I'm just happy to have vanilla.
Okay, all right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like crazy fancy stuff is too much for me. Like I like to keep things like I get overwhelmed very easily.
Oh, okay.
And don't get me wrong, I'll eat the overwhelming stuff.
Oh, sure.
But I'm just happy with vanilla, and yeah.
Good. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And then, so yoga and what other kind of activities?
I don't really have
hiking and all that.
I'm very physically active in the sense that I am kayaking or canoeing once or twice a week.
You look great, dude.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. I move. I'm hiking. I do a lot of hiking. My girlfriend and I, we have a yoga hiking group. So like I'm in the woods a lot. I like walking. I like just moving. And so that's But
kind of what a body does. Built to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% on. I think that's what we were built. Walk those long savannas.
Yeah,
find
walk
food.
and pick things up and carry things and
explore.
Yep. You ever read the book Born to Run?
No. Right? Am I right in this?
Yeah, you got it here.
Born
I'll
to
give
Run?
you, since you don't have a pen. Here's one. So the
I
reason
do take,
Born to Run, Val introduced it to me. Of course, it's about running, right? But there's this huge section in the middle of it that they talk about the evolution of the human being, and from Neanderthals, however you pronounce it, right, to Homo sapien, and it's amazing.
I love that kind of. I'm a big fan of.
You got to get on that.
Yeah. I will definitely.
I listened to it on Audible because
yeah.
there's life before and after Audible.
I hear you.
It's
I'm in my
crazy.
car a lot, so I have no problem with audiobooks.
Yeah.
They are lifesaver.
And then write this down too. The one after it is Natural Born Heroes. I think that you would very much enjoy both those books because they talk about the human body and how it evolved and why we're tall and really, if you look at a human body, we're soft and weak compared to everything else in the animal kingdom.
Right.
We don't
Right.
have hooves and claws and right, big teeth, but we can run.
We can't. Yeah.
And we have a thumb and a brain.
Yep.
And they talk about how with our brain, we were able to meet and all that, which increased protein, which increased the size of our brain. We can get all into that. But incredible
coordination, man.
But
collaboration, right?
Absolutely. And if you like, the way you were talking, how you like where you live your life, and I think you'll enjoy both those.
Excellent. Yeah.
Great books.
Yeah. No, the brains got big, and I think we mimicked wolves. I'm all down that road, watching how a wolf pack works together.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, and then also the introduction of the dog into, right?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with all that.
It's amazing. It's incredible.
Well, I think we're social animals to begin with, right? Mammals,
all
because we're a mammal.
right.
We're a mammal.
Yep.
And I believe that because I like your wolf theory, right?
Yeah.
We have a tailbone. Why the fuck we got a tailbone? We had a tail at one point.
We had a tail at one point.
We have
Helped
canine
balance.
teeth. You can't deny that. We have canine teeth. And our eyes are close together
Yeah.
as a predator.
Yep.
If you look at predators, they're close together so they can look at their prey. If
Yeah.
you're a prey, like take a deer or an elk, a cow, right? Their eyes
On
are
the sides.
on the
so they
side
can
to
see
keep
the
track
periphery.
of people
yeah,
like us.
Yeah.
right?
What's
So-
that movement over there?
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
just enough to go run away, but not where we are like focused. And
Exactly. Yeah. So, God, where were we going with that?
I don't know. It's awesome.
That was cool though, right?
the book. But I'll definitely.
read those if obviously if you want, read them.
Yeah.
But they're amazing. But yeah, I just think that humans are that's what social creatures. Right?
Social creatures.
Absolutely. I don't believe that we should. Of course, there's going to be loners. And
I
all
used to
that.
think it. I used to be like, oh, I'm an island unto myself. Oh yeah. Not anymore. Oh my
No,
God, it's
God,
ridiculous, Steve.
Well, that's why I started this
like-
podcast. That's part of the reason I started this.
Yeah.
I sit here and talk to you like this. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And that's what happened. Like I was just trying to protect myself, right? Shoot myself in the stomach. I got all kind, like the barriers go up.
Oh, absolutely.
I survived this. I can take care of myself and don't need other people and all of that.
That's a euphemism for a lot of
Oh my
things.
God, and unbelievable. Yeah. But as it's so ridiculous because I missed my friendships with the military. I missed that camaraderie and and I've been looking for it ever since.
I found that again. It's funny how we were talking about packs and camaraderie and all that. I started working for U-Haul a couple months ago. I'm in the field a lot, right? And I go to different locations. I'll go to a U-Haul location. I'll walk in, never been there before. And they treat me like we've been brothers for 20 years. And it's amazing. I love it. But that's going back to the pack mentality.
Right. Good tribalism.
Yes.
Not bad tribalism.
Right.
Right.
Oh, here's one.
You know where I'm going.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with that. But absolutely.
You know where I was listening to something. I can't remember where I got it from. This is not my idea. I got it from somewhere else. And
The wolves thing's not my idea either. I don't
Okay. But I think everything's been spoken anyway.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, I got that from him.
That's where fear of public speaking comes in. The tribe mentality.
So, in like what sense? Like,
So when you're in a tribe
Yeah.
and you fuck up, you got to go in front of the tribe and plead for your life.
right? Because if you're ostracized, you're done.
You're fucking done.
You're done.
You
You're
can't
done.
survive without a
And you
tribe.
know that you're done.
Right.
Yeah. Clan of the
So-
Cave Bear. You're
You're gone. Clan
gone.
of the caveman. Holy shit. But
Right?
yeah, but doesn't that make sense?
Oh my God!
Where
100%.
when they said that, I go, boom!
Yeah.
And like my head
That's
exploded.
some
And I'm like,
deep fears that primordial stuff that.
and that's
makes
why,
a lot of
because they
sense.
say what people fear more than death? Public speaking, because
Yeah.
if you don't do public speaking right, you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
I was like, that is amazing. But it kind of goes with our conversation with Klansmen and
and it's funny because I was terrified to come here and talk. I know.
How you feeling now?
I'm fine. I got to try to get out of my own way and just enjoy the
That's
conversation.
Thanks for telling that story, dude. That was,
Yeah, yeah.
Look, man, I got goosebumps. That
You're
was.
welcome. I'm a
Thank you.
little warm. It's warm, but it's good. Like, I don't want it to have, like, I want it to have power in the right way. I don't want it to have power over me, but and it does still a little, right?
Sure, of course.
I don't want to go through that ever again. But I realize, I don't want to be cliche about it, but like it can help, like being able to talk about it and overcoming it shows that like there is a life beyond whatever that is. Like you don't have to move on, but I want to enjoy the rest of what I got.
Yeah,
and I want to share it with people I love.
Absolutely.
And I don't want it to affect them anymore because of my trying to, the other direction.
Right.
So it's like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I should do it.
Now, how would you feel, or what would it make you feel like if one person listening to this, it helped them? Do you feel that's?
Yeah. I mean, it would be, I think there's a couple keys to having a good life. I think there's a few. There's no one answer to anything.
No,
right?
And those answers are different for everybody.
Exactly.
Right.
Like there's different routes. There's different things. But I think from what in the research and the reading and the, getting older, I do believe in my heart that one of the roads to a really good life is helping other people.
Oh fuck, dude, 100%.
Looking at now my heroes before and now my heroes now, they've all helped other people, but just in different ways. But now my heroes are Gandhi and Martin Luther King. Like looking at like how they helped and what did they do? They helped others. They led by example. They did what they walked the walk.
Yeah.
And helping others. Like,
well, what's that? I don't think it was Gandhi or any of those guys. I think it was like Churchill or not. Fuck. It was either him or the big rich guy there. The billionaire old dude.
Rockefeller?
No, he's still alive.
Warren Buffett?
Warren Buffett.
Okay.
I think it was Warren Buffett. I saw a quote by him, which was amazing, that said, peace or something like that is, of course I butcher them all the time, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Is a man planting a seed for a tree, knowing that he'll never sit in the shade of that tree.
That is,
isn't that amazing?
Absolutely. Plant good seeds.
And knowing that you'll never reap the reward for it.
Absolutely.
But that's why wouldn't you? Or why wouldn't you?
Right.
Just
there's enough of everything to just help others.
Yep.
I didn't believe that before. I was, I don't know, kind of like arms around, mine's mine, protect my
but that's going back to the tribal thing.
Absolutely,
right?
But that's even ridiculous though, because you need
everybody around
to protect
you
it all.
you.
So and I just believe now as an adult looking at the world that there is enough. There's enough we can do this.
One quote that I have is doing the right fucking thing is doing the right fucking thing.
Who said that?
That's mine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Doing the right fucking thing is do the right fucking thing.
Just do the right fucking thing.
That's it.
Integrity.
Yeah. And what's the definition of integrity is doing the right thing or something when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's as simple as that. Right.
Yeah. And it's like those little things add up during the day.
Absolutely.
Like I'm on my own at work all day long, and things can doing the right thing is fucking doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take those little things, and it builds confidence. It makes you feel good.
It does.
When you do something right, and nobody's there going, "Good job."
Yeah.
You don't need that. Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Holy cow! So the other question I
Yeah.
had for you was that popped up. Mm-hmm. What's your attitude on guns at this point?
Oh, it's interesting. So
do you get asked that a lot?
Well, my only just because of recent stuff. It's
those fucking shootings.
My army buddies. I got a little political on Facebook. I want to say 2 years ago, I went to the gun march, the anti-gun march in the city. I've been to a couple. Interestingly, I went to Standing Rock. I did this Standing Rock.
Oh,
That was like my first taste of like, wow, you know what? Yeah,
crazy.
stand up and say the right thing. And then I did the Women's March, and then the gun thing. My stance is this: my Army buddies really they lost it on me. I am 100%. I have no problem with wanting to protect yourself. I'm total Second Amendment guy. I just think that, like anything, there needs to be regulation, just like airplanes are regulated, just like cars are regulated. I think that anything that's a military grade weapon or something designed to kill humans in a massive amount of times, not for protection, but I think it's an easy line for me. I don't have a problem with it. The argument that the government, it's to keep we're way past that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If the government wants anything that they want, you're holed up in your little house with your AR-15. No one's going to rally behind you. Those days are done.
Yeah.
The way things change are through your voice and getting groups together and protesting. So
Peaceful protest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Gandhi, 100%.
Yeah.
He removed an empire from his country through ahimsa, which is non-harming.
Yeah. No,
And so for someone to tell me that it can't be done, it's been done. And but land of the free, absolutely. But if you have to get a license to drive a car, I think you need a license to own a firearm. So background checks, yes. Checking in every other year, sure. And accountability. You sell, and I don't even mind if there's permits to get the assault rifle, but you're going through some serious permits, you're going through some serious background checks, and then, whoever ends up with these guns, you go to jail. You don't go to jail for smoking pot. You go to jail for selling somebody a gun or not being responsible for it.
Yeah, but then you could, just to have the other side of that argument.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is
all the guns that are already out there, right?
Well, that and
Sure,
you could have all the regulations you want, right? So say you're a criminal, right? Oh, man, I thought I shut that off. Sorry.
That's fine.
Hang on a second. Make sure. Sorry, man.
That's okay.
I don't want that interrupting us again. I thought, like I said, that's why it's media. Is I go through all the background checks, do all that. I buy the gun, and then sell it to you on a down low because I need money, and you're willing to pay me. I'm just throwing that out as an argument, right? I believe, regulations and all that.
Go to jail, bro.
I totally agree.
The responsibility, that's the whole point, is that the responsibility of what these do is not something that should be sold in just accessible. And
right, but the thing is, though, say I sell you that gun because I'm getting money for it and I know you'll pay me. You go out and kill a bunch of people, it's a little too late. Right?
It's too late, absolutely. But
I'm just trying to balance the argument. The conversation.
Yeah, and it's not something that's going to. None of these things are going to fix anything immediately.
What you want to do is my short answer, or my quick. You ever hear that example? Security in your home or your car, lock your car, right? To where if somebody really wanted to break into it, they're going to fucking break into it.
Absolutely,
right? But
I leave my windows open. That way they don't break my window.
Oh, there you go. The quote...
take whatever you got to take at this point.
They're not.
Oh my God.
But the quote is, make the neighbor's car easier to break into.
I don't want my neighbor's car to get broken into.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, but if your neighbor does that and then his neighbor does that, then nothing gets broken into.
Yeah.
Right? Where I'm going with that is there's always going to be a way around it. Criminal's been like that. It's a yin and yang, right? It's a balance. Everything has to be a balance.
Right.
Everything can't be beautiful and soft. There has to be hard to go with that.
Correct. The world can be a hard place.
Right.
But
look. The example I give is Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Look how fucking evil Mother Nature is, but look how beautiful she is too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't believe in the word evil. It's interesting.
No, well, okay.
No, it's okay.
Harsh.
Yeah.
Evil.
Right. Evil means that and the whole back to the whole God thing.
Evil is intentional.
That there's some distilled thing that's just bad. Everything happens it's got its own motivations that you can't
Intentional.
even understand. You know.
Oh, evil you're talking about.
Sure. Well, I don't know if I believe in the idea of evil personally.
Oh, okay.
I think bad things happen.
Sure.
And the people that did those bad things have their justification. I'm not saying their justifications are right or good.
Yeah, but in their mind,
they're right. In their mind, you know, all the atrocities and throughout history, they didn't see themselves as evil, you know, but they still did it. Evil
oh
to
man,
me,
that's a wow. Wait to back that up.
well, evil
That's
means
actually-
like it's not their fault, and like there's this distilled thing that's just like the devil's like making this bad thing happen, and I just don't like bad shit happens, and there's probably you know you could trace that back.
I really like that point on that.
Thanks.
I do. That's really cool to work. Not well, it's not.
And was Hitler evil in that sense? Sure. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
in
gonna
his
sit here
mind,
and
he
say.
was- but in
not
him-
to him, he was
wasn't evil.
nationalist for his country. He wanted to take, you know, and I'm not
Yeah.
even justifying him. You know, the roads he went, or sure, if there was evil, that's where we could. But that's what I guess, like you know,
We put that mark on that.
right. We create that
Okay.
word and make
Wow,
that.
that's really
that
neat.
thing.
That's a cool point.
But nature to me, there's nothing evil in nature at all.
There's a point to what's happening.
Yeah, it's a bear's gonna eat its food. A hawk's gonna grab that swallow out of the sky. That's what it was bred to do. That's what it's meant to do. And it's sad for the swallow family, and it's sad for us when we get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah, but that swallow ate something too.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
right,
It goes up
Circle.
and down that line,
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
anything
yeah.
else.
Yeah. So there's okay. So there's beauty in nature, but
Oh,
there's
yeah.
also
Yes, yes.
God. You could. I guess evil wouldn't. But there's
Yeah, it is
a
just
hard
what
and
it
a
is.
soft. It's a hard and a
yeah.
soft side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in everything has to have that, right?
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, correct. Right.
Right.
It's very relative.
Right. Oh, speaking of relative, this blew my mind. I had a guy on here, and he was talking about how Einstein talked about time.
Yeah, yeah.
And he says, if you put your hand on the hot stove, a minute feels like an hour. He goes, you sit next to a beautiful woman, an hour feels like a minute. And that blew my mind. I go, that makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
I love
yeah.
that quote. You know, I butchered it. It's probably a little more elegant.
Yeah,
but
but
whatever.
no.
You get the point.
Yeah, time's some weird shit.
Huh?
Time is some weird shit.
Yeah, right. But it's consistent, right?
Yeah, there's
There's
something.
nothing-
Yeah, that's not.
There's nothing you can't change.
There's a
it.
law that's not changing for any of us.
Yeah. One of my, I want to get your opinion on this. One of my favorite quotes is, "We're a meat-covered ghost sitting on a rock, hurtling through space. Fear nothing."
Fear nothing. Yeah.
I mean, what do you got control of?
Yeah.
Nothing. You got and
Ball,
you're
rocky ball, float. Yeah, absolutely.
floating through space.
And then the amazing thing is we're being spun around this burning ball in the sky.
yeah, exactly.
That it'll burn your eyes out if you stare at it, but if it wasn't there,
we wouldn't be
we
here.
wouldn't be here.
Yeah, yeah.
And we know it's gonna and we know it's gonna be here the next day, and it's very, very comforting to know that.
Yeah. You're
It's-
like, I wonder if the sun will come up tomorrow.
I did the last eclipse. I did like the garage science kind of thing, and put the filters
cardboard.
over and look. I did it over my camera, and
Oh, okay,
I looked
cool.
through, and it was the first. Like I've seen pictures, but to see it through my own camera, I could see that it was an orb with my own eye.
Oh, very
and
nice.
blew. It was like, wow, like.
That's super
And
cool.
you know how much time we look. There's the sun. There's pictures of the sun. There's amazing NASA images of the sun. But to see it as an orb, like
and nothing but gas.
just I could see like the roundness of it, and it was like, it was very humbling.
you got a picture of that?
I put some up on. There's some back on Facebook. Yeah,
Is there?
everybody was like, "Oh, that's great." You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
like
have to
you
check
could,
'em out.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that I saw it through the camera,
Real time.
like
in
real
your
time,
camera.
because I put a bunch of like like sunglass type material over the lens so that I could look through. But yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
big ball of burning
Gas
thing.
just
Oh,
could eat us, just be gone and that
That's it.
quick.
Yeah.
You a big universe guy? I'm a fan of the universe.
Yeah, I love the science. I love science. I love like how far we've come, and I follow Elon Musk. I think it's really interesting.
That guy's incredible.
and I'm with him. Like, I think that we should not. I think that we need to protect this planet, and this is our planet.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
But his idea of we shouldn't, all your eggs in one basket. I want the human. There was I've been in some dark times, and I was like, fuck the human race. We're really stupid and ignorant, and especially there's some things now. It's like, I heard that some of the environmental laws are being pushed back, and it's just like I don't want to go there. Just have my faith in humanity. I think we need to go. I think that's our job, is to go out into the stars. I do. So, I don't think it's just. I think it's to explore and to keep, back to the whole. We've evolved to move and explore. And
I think we'll always be on the move and explore. What about the ocean, though?
We should be.
We should be in there.
Cameron went down. James Cameron, the movie director.
Yeah.
Took his own money, went down to the lows.
Checked it out?
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should be exploring. Oh,
I love
absolutely,
exploring.
in as much as out, without a doubt.
Yeah. What's up for you next? Yoga and photography? You got any?
Well, I created. Both. Both are going well.
Got a girlfriend? Going to get
I have a
married
girlfriend. I don't know about that, but I love her. And if I was going to marry somebody, this would be the one,
awesome,
without a doubt.
Congratulations.
Yeah, she's the most. It took many. I've been through a lot of relationships with the PTSD. A lot. And that's like a joke in my family. Bill's got another girl. That whole. And the people in my life.
How long she got?
That whole.
They got a pool.
We're going on
with
2
football
years, though.
pool.
We're going on 2.
Nice.
And that's a
That's a record?
I've had a couple that have gone 2, but what's different is that I always went for these strong, alpha women, in charge, and because it was kind of sexy, and she's a gentle. She's alpha. She's not a pushover in any way, but she's gentle. And with the PTSD, she has been the most she's there with me with it, and I don't.
Nice.
And she's not pushy. She's not sometimes. Oh, I'm not pushy, and then all of a sudden,
Here it comes.
But she's really not, and she's a gentle yoga teacher, and so she has her own following because she's just so gentle and just very loving human being, and so I'm just very privileged to be that she cares about me as much as she does, and so
that's amazing.
So we're working on some stuff together, and we got that hiking yoga group that we do once a month. We take group people out hiking,
nice,
and do a little meditation out in the woods, and what else? Photography for me, I photograph. There's a big canoe race in the Adirondacks every year called the Adirondack 90 miler. It's 3 days of 3 days of racing and camping. You do 30 miles a day. And I used to do it. It a lot. And I did it with the Campmore team on the war canoes. And it was kind of funny because I started out in nature photography because I didn't want to take pictures of people. I was like, I'm not going to. And one of my buddies, during one of the races is like, dude, why don't you're really good with the camera, man. Why don't you take pictures of the racers? And I'm like, wow, that's a good idea. Put the two worlds together.
Sure.
So this will be my 5th year doing it. So I go up and I photograph all the racers.
When is that?
It's
fall?
September 6th. The second weekend of September.
Okay, cool. And where in the Adirondacks?
So it's 90 miles right through the middle of it. It starts at Old Forge and ends at Saranac Lake.
I know those places very well.
Yeah.
I grew up in upstate New York.
Oh yeah, so it's the old fur trapper route, pretty much. That the first highway of all the the beaver.
Awesome.
It's like kind of all the connected waterways. So it's rivers and lakes for 90 miles. So
that's
awesome.
Photography.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming over, dude.
Absolutely.
This is super fun, and thanks again for sharing your story.
You got absolutely. Thank you.
That was a good story. We'll do this again, huh?
Absolutely. If you ever need whatever. I enjoyed
be more happy
hanging
to have
out.
you over.
And
Bring Stacy. Oh, no, sorry, I didn't mean Stacy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's
Is
okay.
it Stacy?
No. The ex-wife is Stacy.
Sorry.
Who, with the modern world of Facebook, we're friends on Facebook. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just I couldn't do it. It was one of the first things I realized once I recovered from all of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't be married. I can't do this.
Got to work on this,
Yep.
and then I can work on some. And I'm a big fan of, If you're healthy with it, if you're healthy, you can help other people.
Yep.
If you're not healthy,
If you're not, and
You
she
can't
was
do
so
anything.
good. She was so good to me. She was there for everything. So it wasn't an easy thing. Like it was like the guilt, but I just it changed my whole life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, sure.
I married her as a very different person, and that military guy, and now it's very different human. So yeah, but thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
thanks you, man. That was
And
awesome.
If you think I can help out in any way, reach out. Let me know.
Yeah, thanks, boo. Yeah, everybody, thanks for listening. What an incredible story, huh? Definitely going to have Bill back on to get an update of the Adirondack 90 miler. If you want to come on, let me know. Would love to have you. Best way to get a hold of me is DM me on Instagram, wktpodcast.com. Facebook is Walt's Kitchen Table, and my website, waltskitchentable.com. Everybody's got a story. I had no idea Bill was going to tell me that story, and I enjoyed it, and I mean that in the most positive way, and I know Bill will understand that. And we'll go from there. Don't forget, liverishi.com. You want a good night's sleep, take away your aches and pains, enjoy life a little bit, relax, enter table as a promo code. I'll hook you up, and we will catch you next time. Much love.